Okay, I just want to make sure that everybody gets to the point of the video where the judge is addressing Lil Rod's attorney, because apparently Lil Rod has the craziest attorney of all time, because this judge just admonishes him, dude. Just absolutely destroys him, okay? He's ruling that the civil case can move forward, but he's like, this guy is, look, he is unprofessional. Everything he's doing is wrong. He outlines all the stuff that he's doing. And he's like, I'm not going to hold this against the plaintiff because it's not his fault. He's not an attorney. But anyway, it's hilarious. You guys need to make sure that you stay through that part. All right, so major update in the Diddy case. These keep seeming to go Diddy's way. I got to be honest, man. Like, Diddy is, he's making a lot of progress here. And he has gotten his RICO thrown out. Okay, so the civil portion of the RICO and the breach of contract claims are thrown out of this Lil Rod case. Now, this is one of the ones that literally started this entire avalanche, all right? So we're going to go through exactly what that means, because honestly, everybody was wondering, how on earth is Diddy the only RICO, defendant that has no co-defendants, RICO stands for racketeer, influence, corrupt organizations, okay? You can't have a corrupt organizations if you only have one guy who is the corrupt criminal, right? Like, where is co-defendants? Very similar situation to another guy who, if we really wanted to get down with it, we could do this today. But the Jeffrey Epstein situation, because, like, where are all those cases? You know what I mean? Like, just Jeffrey Epstein, he's dead. And then Ghislaine Maxwell, she's gone. You're all, where are all these other people? Seems to me that every time there is a very powerful person who's getting rung up, it's like, seems like there's a lot of other people who seem to be being protected because they didn't cross the masters of the universe. And speaking of which, I'll show you something else we're going to look at right now, which is we got two other parts of this video that we're going to look at after we go through the details of that. Okay, so the other thing is Kanye West and Diddy were recorded on a phone call, a prison phone call. That's very notable. We're gonna look at that. But the reason why I talked about the other people being protected is because, as we discussed in the live stream that I did while I was in Cancun, Tony Buzbee has been thrown off of 15 cases that he was bringing against Diddy in New York. Okay, and that comes as a direct result of him bringing Jay-Z into this. And Jay-Z hit back and caused irreparable damage to Tony Buzbee's career. Okay, so Tony Buzbee cannot practice law in the Southern District of New York. He has basically everything has gone wrong for this guy. Like, everything has gone wrong for him since he filed the public lawsuit against Jay-Z. So we're going to go through all of those things, and that is what we are going to do. But first, I would like to ask all of you to subscribe to the channel, because if I don't do that, then no one does it, and then my channel implodes. I'm just kidding. But it is very helpful to the channel. If you're going to watch my content, all I ask is that you subscribe to the channel. It is incredibly helpful, and I really genuinely appreciate it. All right, so now Diddy wins dismissal of Lil Rod's RICO breach of contract claims as civil lawsuit moves forward. Okay, so if you guys don't recall, Lil Rod was the producer who lived at Diddy's house for a year working on the Love album. Now, some of the claims in this guy's lawsuit were outlandish, okay? Now, people assumed that they weren't true, okay? They assumed they weren't true. They were, I actually, you know what? I feel like I should list them for you guys. Now, with a little help from ChatGPT, we can go through the details of this case, okay? So this is what Lil Rod claimed that Diddy did. He claimed that Diddy had subjected him to unwanted sexual advances, including drugging and coercing him into non-consensual acts. He said that he forced him into illicit activities, claims that he was compelled to hire prostitutes and participate in non-consensual acts. The lawsuit asserts that Diddy forced Jones to procure and handle illegal drugs, including pink cocaine. He also said that he stiffed him on the money that he owed him for the album. Now, here are some of the celebrities that were also included in the case. You got Christina Corham. Now, that is Diddy's chief of staff, who is accused of aiding and abetting the alleged sexual assaults and facilitating the procurement of drugs and sex workers. Cuba Gooding Jr., the actor, is alleged to have assaulted Jones on Diddy's yacht by inappropriately touching him. Justin Combs, who is his son, who is a creep. He's accused of participating in the events where illicit activities occurred, including the solicitation of sex workers and involvement in events with underage girls. He also got sued by that girl on the boat, who I do believe. Lucian Grange, that's the name of like a vampire, not a human. Okay, Lucian Grange, the CEO of Universal Music Group, was initially named in the lawsuit, suggesting he was part of the alleged racketeering enterprise. However, the claims against him were later withdrawn. Yeah, I bet they were. They're like, hey, you want to see what RICO looks like, pal? You better drop that. Ethiopia, I don't even know who that is, CEO of Motown, also was alleged in the racketeering stuff. Young Miami, who was Diddy's girl, is one of the city girls. She mentioned in the lawsuit as someone Diddy had a relationship with. Her cousin is alleged to have assaulted Jones. Stevie J, also, Prince Harry, Daphne Joy, Harvey Pierre. I mean, like, this is all stuff that Lil Rod alleged, okay? Now, also, Lil Rod claimed that Sean Diddy Combs was involved in a shooting incident at Chalice Recording Studios in L.A. September 12, 2022. Jones claimed that after a heated argument in a bathroom, he heard gunshots and subsequently found an individual referred to as G injured in the bathroom. He further alleged that Diddy instructed him to inform the police that the shooting occurred outside the studio as part of a drive-by incident. Okay, so that's what the case is, and what the judge dismissed the RICO portion of today. Now, to be clear, he still is going to court on the criminal stuff. And so let's read this, and it'll explain exactly what we're into. Okay, so the beleaguered billionaire will still have to answer for claims of sex trafficking and sexual assault in the case that opened the floodgates of legal woes against the rap mogul. But the RICO stuff has been thrown out. Okay, Sean Diddy Combs won a small portion of his uphill legal battle on Monday when a federal judge dismissed the RICO portion and 4 other causes of action brought in the legal filing from Rodney Lil Rod Jones, the producer whose accusations preceded a flood of legal complaints against the rap mogul and his company. On Monday, Judge Paul Oetken of the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York, where Tony Buzbee can no longer practice law, apparently, weighed in on Combs' defense team's motion to dismiss Jones versus Combs in a 31-page opinion, granting the motion in part, but denying the other portions related to the sexual assault and the trafficking. The slimmed-down civil case will still move forward, but with the racketeering accusations struck from the case, along with the breach of contract claim and 3 causes of action related to infliction of emotional distress, he dismissed a claim in the suit related to the Trafficking Victims Protection Act. In the dismissal of the RICO element of the lawsuit, the judge decided that Jones' case fails to prove any injury to his business or property caused by RICO enterprise overseen by Diddy. Therefore, he can't sue under the claim that his complaints relate to any alleged illicit enterprise. The judge said Jones' non-payment claim also lacked any causal connection with any purported racketeering activity. So basically, and here, actually, let me read you the judge's ruling. Combs' alleged refusal to honor the contract with Jones is not itself a RICO predicate, even if the contract breach resulted from Jones' refusal to participate in Combs' alleged racketeering scheme. In sum, whether or not Jones has adequately alleged to the existence of a RICO enterprise, he has not tied the activities of that enterprise to defendant's breach of contract or any other business or property harm incurred by Jones. Okay, so what he's saying right there is that even if Diddy was running a RICO, situation, where he's coercing people and he's assaulting people and all of that stuff, that has not been directly connected to the damages that Lil Rod is seeking cash for or remedy for. He's like, yeah, maybe this stuff happened, but that has nothing to do with why he didn't pay you, and you have not proven that is why he didn't pay you. So the breach of contract element was dismissed because nothing related to the payment agreement. Okay, there we go. His decision was lopsided, however, and Combs, along with his chief of staff, will still have to answer for claims of sex trafficking, additional claims against Combs related to sexual assault, and the premises liability will also proceed. The judge decided, but the trafficking claim against Combs Global was dismissed. Okay, so wow, so he actually got a trafficking claim dismissed as well. So that's big, dude. That's big. He got a trafficking and the RICO dismissed out of this case. So basically, they're saying Lil Rod spent over a year in Combs' inner circle living and traveling with Combs, and he also became his videographer day to day. When he exited the mogul's orbit, he claims he was groomed, abused, exploited, and stiffed on a $50,000 payment, publishing shares and royalties for his work on the Grammy-nominated album. Jones's case was filed February 26th in the New York federal court, seeking $30 million in restitution. Man, dude, Diddy hates paying people, man. Like, what is it with these guys? And these, like, really, really rich guys who are, like, the big party guys. Like, they vomit so much money on all kinds of stuff, but they seem to, like, really hate paying people, you know? So Jones leveled harsh accusations against Combs, including alleging that he was sexually assaulted, allegedly forced by Combs to engage in sex acts, made to solicit sex workers, drugged, humiliated, and says he was reportedly groped on his anus and genitals while in Combs' orbit. And he's saying that Cuba Gooding Jr. did that. Blue. All right, so now they're just repeating themselves. A special warning to counsel section was also included in the decision directed at Blackburn, stating that his filings are replete with inaccurate statements of law, conclusory accusations, and inappropriate ad hominem attacks on opposing counsel. For example, in urging the court to consider a grand jury indictment of Combs on related criminal charges, Blackburn writes, as evidenced by U.S. Attorney Williams' press conference and the grand jury indictment, defendant Sean Combs and Combs' RICO enterprise are presumed guilty of being a RICO criminal organization. What? The judge quoted before writing that any licensed member of the bar would espouse such an absurd understanding of the law is not just disturbing, but shocking. So that's Lil Rod's attorney, and everybody had said that this guy's a total fucking hack, right? Like, everybody had said that's hack. That's one of the most, that is potentially the most aggressive thing I've ever heard a judge say about an attorney that's in their court. I mean, that's crazy. If someone wrote that about me in my job, I would be mortified. Like, that was a very harsh statement. It keeps on going, dude. Listen to this. The judge wrote that the operative complaint and Blackburn's opposition briefs are full of similar irrelevant insults, misstatements, and exaggerations. He added that the court will not hold Blackburn's antics against Jones at this point, but warned the attorney of looming sanctions or referral for discipline should such conduct continue. Blackburn told the Hollywood Reporter on Tuesday that he respects judge's order and opinion and is pleased with the decision as he can now proceed with legal discovery related to the case, naming both Combs and Coram. We view this as a win. The defendants wanted a total dismissal and they failed to get it. I know where all the bodies are buried and I have a huge shovel. Time to start digging. Oh, man. It's a fun game, man. I wish I would have gotten this game, you know? It's just all like, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't like doing a bunch of paperwork and stuff. But if my job was to be like the guy who's like, okay, here's strategically what we're doing. We're going to give that to the judge. We're going to do this. Oh yeah, here, I'm going to give a statement to the, like, this sounds fun. You could just have a judge just shit down your throat like that and you're stoked, you know, because things moving forward, or I don't know. This whole thing sounds fun. I'm sorry. I have something going on right now. That's why I keep going like, I don't know. Like, I just got back from Mexico. I have like the worst heartburn I've ever had in my entire life. So Coram broke her silence last week, months after being named in at least 3 lawsuits alongside her former boss, claiming that she is innocent and that she never condoned or aided or abetted the sexual assault of anyone. So, you know, that is where we are at on that case. All right, so let's jump over to the Buzbee part. So Buzbee's legal issues continue after withdrawing from 15 Diddy lawsuits. All right, so after feuding with Jay-Z, controversial attorney Tony Buzbee issues a state his continued amount after withdrawing from the Diddy drama. So attorney Tony Buzbee is stepping away from over a dozen sexual abuse lawsuits against Diddy in the New York federal court. His decision comes just days after admitting that he had misjudged his ability to practice law in that jurisdiction. Buzbee acknowledged the oversight in a statement to Judge Ronnie Abrams. Buzbee failed to disclose that he was not admitted to practice in the Southern District. He assured the court he would correct the issue by withdrawing his representation until securing proper admission. In his filing, Buzbee emphasized that he remains in good standing with the New York State Bar. He is fully qualified to continue representing clients. However, he opted to step aside to prevent his admission status from becoming a distraction. And that is Jay-Z deep dicking Tony Buzbee. Okay, like just to be clear, that's exactly what that is. Okay, Jay-Z went head to head with this guy and he won. There's just no two ways about that. Okay. Buzbee's priority, he stated, is securing justice for the plaintiffs rather than allowing procedural matters to overshadow the cases at hand. He's like, aside from the fact that the first lawsuit that we filed very publicly turned out to be a lie, and so we just withdrew the whole thing. It's like that shouldn't distract from these other ones, right? That we didn't fact check any of it. While Buzbee exits these federal cases, the lawsuits will proceed under other attorneys. He will remain active in cases filed in New York State courts and other jurisdictions. Though he declined to comment directly to Billboard, he told the Houston Chronicle that his colleagues who are properly admitted to the Southern District of New York will continue handling the federal cases while he focuses on state litigation. Combs faces a barrage of allegations, including numerous civil lawsuits and a criminal indictment from federal prosecutors. His trial is scheduled for May, and a conviction could result in a life sentence. That would be, just given the indictment, that would be so crazy if he actually got a life sentence, And I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve one. I'm just saying in the actual indictment, he's like indicted on the stuff that happened with Cassie, which, she voluntarily had sex with other dudes in front of him and, he hit her. I mean, like, I'm not saying he did anything right, but life sentence seems pretty strong for that. For that itself, just those, and that's basically all that's in this lawsuit. That's it, And then they're trying to be like, yeah, these people who voluntarily took drugs and had sex at his house. I mean, yeah, that's trafficking. These are escorts. This is what they do. They take money to have sex with people. And Diddy hired them, and then they had sex with people, and they took drugs voluntarily. I mean, I'm not saying that he didn't do things involuntarily, but those are not in the indictment for whatever reason. I still don't really understand why that is the case. Buzbee, a prominent Houston-based plaintiff's attorney, revealed last October that he was representing 120 individuals alleging abuse by Combs. Since then, he has filed over 20 lawsuits, many on behalf of anonymous accusers who claim Combs sexually assaulted or raped them. Now, this goes over the specifics on the Jay-Z case. We've gone over that a million times. It supposedly happened in the year 2000, and every single thing that was fact-checked about that story turned out to be not true. So we're not even going to go over it again. But Jay-Z and his attorney have deep-dicked Tony Buzbee for now. We'll see how it turns out. Anyway, that's what I got for the channel today. Subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. Bye-bye.